6 full sticks of butter here. You see the butter here? Butter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If your opponent isn't anti-airing, jump at him. Grab. Yes, I know we all love grab around here. Ooh, that's a standing heavy kick, my brother. I'm with you. And then we whiff this. I'm like, ugh. And then we went for DI, and I'm really like, ugh. Ooh, she got you lacking. Watch your headpiece. Okay, I got them nice and shiny and glimmering. Okay, you can spend 2 of them butters to make a nice vanilla cake. Okay, all right, so what's good, you fellow hoodie enthusiasts? What's good with you? The first ever ed session that we're doing here on this channel. Like I mentioned to our friend Yang here, this is liable to change seeing as this character is still developing. But with that being said, I'm gonna do my best to break down what things we can improve on, especially with ed as of this moment. Okay, if you notice your opponent is just going for a straight he conkins, you know, then basically what we can do, we can just sit on it, keep countering it, keep having her deal with it, and then on the occasion we throw out an EX, right? The basic fireball game. Eventually we're going to do an EX version. Nice. Medium. Reason why you do medium here is because his jabs are not great in this situation. The most you'll get out of this is probably like a cross jab or a stand jab or something. This is technically, because it's 10 frames, is technically not real. If your opponent had your opponent mashed here, you would have actually gotten hit here. But with that being said, you can afford a couple of opportunities a little bit better when you use the medium to do a soft knockdown into the kill rush. No follow, kill rush, no follow up. Okay, you pull them in, they spent meter. That's good because you're winning the drive gauge war, but it seems they burnt themselves out anyway to get a soft knockdown. You go for a throw. It's okay that you didn't tech it. Now we pull them in, throw them. Look where you are in regards to the stage, right? You see this corner? That means the back of the wall is right here. So we want, when we pull them in, we want to put them in the worst possible situation. If they tech it, they tech it. But here's the thing, in this first round, we want to gain as much information on the person that we're fighting against. So we're gonna try out our typical strategies. Here you want to throw them into the corner. If they tech, now we have that information. Now we know that they are opponents that like to tech a lot. So then we can take advantage of that the next time we EX pull them, and then we're going to bait out their options by doing so. So basically, you want to use this first round to gain as much data on your opponent as possible. See what they like to do, how they have, what answers they have to your typical flowchart, and then once the round is over, we can use that knowledge to develop a flowchart that will beat our opponent. So if you clicked on this video, I'm sure you need some help. Lord knows I did at some point. But here's the thing, you want your favorite content creators to come and help you. But let's be real, they're charging like $60 per hour. You don't need that. But when I got you good. Over on this channel, I do free coaching sessions on Tuesdays and on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. EST. So what does that look like? I essentially go over your matches. I give you tools so that you can succeed the next time you open up rank. So once again, join my Discord. Wait till I'm live either on Tuesdays or on Thursdays 6:30 p.m. EST. Be there or be square. And yeah, I'm not your favorite pro, but I'm available. Those pros are not available. So once again, join the live, get better, and I'll help you improve. Back to the video. Feel me? Ooh, okay. Here, like I'm with you, and then we whiff this. I'm like, ugh, and then we went for DI, and I'm really like, ugh. Okay, there's no reason to shoot out DI like this, right? I would have preferred you kind of like confirm the fact that she was going to do something. Like, look how far she was from you, right? Look how far she was. It was very unlikely she was going to stick out something, right? You got to see the situation, see the probability of whether your opponent is gonna go for something like that or not, and you gotta kind of tweak it. So you want to ideally get a little bit closer to your opponent, because when you get closer to your opponent, that's when they start panicking and trying to check the space. They'll try to check it with either forward medium punch, crouching medium kick. They'll try to check the space by doing those options, and in those options, that's when you can abuse the fact that you have DI available to you. You feel? Okay. Okay. Ooh, that's a standing heavy kick, my brother. Okay, I'm not gonna say DP. Maybe we're not there with the DP anti-airs. I'm sure I'm not, so that's perfectly fine, right? But at the very least, we get the heavy kick into the kill rush, because if we anti-air with standing heavy kick into kill rush, we're like anywhere between +6 and +9 off of the situation, depending on the height. Okay, oh, missed the combo. Pull him in. Oh, you had to charge this. This you had to charge. Okay, had you charged this, you put them in another situation where they had to guess. If they come off the meter and kill you, it is what it is. However, it is a good situation to put your opponent in. If you just hit them like outright, you're just gonna hold back, which she ends up doing anyway. Right? Ideally, you want to pull them in. Nice attempt. Okay, yep. I actually think forward heavy punch is like plus, I want to say it's +1 or 0 while they're in burnout. Again, I don't have all the details together, but I'm fairly certain it's advantageous for you to go for forward heavy punch, because it does give you pretty good plus frames, if I'm recalling this correctly. Okay. Oh, here I feel like because you had enough meter to work with, pressing standing heavy punch into EX pull or EX psycho flicker, there was no reason not to go for it. You know what I mean? Regardless of the situation, see how much meter you had. Let's say they decided to they were able to block the situation, you would still put them in a situation where they had to guess. And ideally you had enough, more than enough, to go for it anyway, right? So on hit or on block, it's good to use that option, because you can force them into a situation where they have to guess, strike, and throw. Right. The sweet gene got you good, huh? What in tarnation? Why? If you wanted to come off 2, sure. But the whole 3 is kind of a crazy work. Pull him. Oh. Okay. Off of this situation here, yeah, you gotta accept what comes. You gotta pull him a little bit. See, the thing is that your opponent is autopiloting right now, right? She's assuming that you're gonna just do quarter circle forward medium kick. She's assuming that you're just gonna stop there. Right? If we take advantage of the fact that she's assuming this, we can hold it so that we can get the fully charged, pull them in, put them in a situation again where they have to guess, right? We want to be making sure that we're using pull to force them into situations where they tech or not, right? In Diamond, we're going to find a lot of folks that like to tech a lot, and then we can take advantage of that. Okay, chance. Dead. What did you press? Ah, you got caught by grab. Grab. Yes, I know we all love grab around here. With that being said, you gotta be careful with it. It's hard. It's definitely hard to get out of the habit, but I'd say like take a throw. Okay, listen. Look at how much health you had left. If you took a throw, you wouldn't die. Okay. If you take a throw, you wouldn't die. You gotta make sure. It gets all of us sometimes. You'll even watch my games, it catches me as well, right? It catches pros, it catches everyone. Sometimes your hands just do it. But we gotta fight against that instinct, especially when we're at this type of health where they can kill us if you decide to do it. Unfortunately, you do get hit here, and it is what it is. But with that being said, the things that I want you to look at and focus on are taking liberties when your opponent is autopiloting on defense, okay? We have to make sure that just because our opponent you have had opponents in the past that had dealt with you charging your cycle flicker, doesn't mean that every opponent that you fight is going to do the same. You know what I mean? So start pulling them in, see what they do, see if they take action. If they don't take any action against it, there's no reason to not abuse it. Is what I tell people all the time. If your opponent isn't anti-airing, jump at them until they learn, hey, you gotta stop me from jumping. You jump at them. You know, same way, if they're not stopping you from doing fully charged cycle flicker and pulling them into a mix, keep doing it. Make them pay. But with that being said, let's go on to the next replay. So with that being said, let's go on to the second game here. Ooh, she got you lacking. Watch your headpiece. Okay, fight back. Okay, there you go. Not the place to do it. Lean back. Okay, the reason why this space she can challenge pretty easily, right? If you kill rush forward, you're gonna be around here. If she happens to walk any sort of forward, you're in the proper space to get punished by her. So in these situations, you want to lean back and not lean forward. If you lean forward, then you're putting yourself in a zone that she can contest, right? Let's say she doesn't even walk forward. If she even just puts out, hey, cockin', then you know what I mean? Then you still get hit. Just lean back. Don't lean forward. Oh wait, she did. Yep, pull him in. This is fine. The reason why this is fine, look at her gauge now. Her gauge is well, I was about to say something crazy, but her gauge is dwindling. Nice. Okay, here's what I'll say. Sometimes it's okay to throw out a couple of cycle flickers. Right now she's she's doing that for free, right? She's getting the pick of the litter when it comes to these situations here. We want to take a couple of liberties and throw out a couple of EX cycle flickers just to check her. You know what I mean? Just to check her. Bop, bop, bop. Nice. Pull up. Hit her again. Beautiful. Here's the thing, like, because you have anti-fireball that turns into fireball, because you have that option, she doesn't get to zone you for free. You know what I mean? She doesn't get that space for free. She doesn't get fireball drive rush. She has to do something about you. That's unfortunate here, because you actually did a very good whiff punish here. But this is also another situation. Again, you have 6 full sticks of butter here. You see the butter here? Butter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you got them nice and shiny and glimmering. Okay, you can spend 2 of them butters to make a nice vanilla cake. Okay, spend it. EX this. Cook her. Okay, let's suppose in a world where we went for standing heavy punch into EX pull. We do EX pull. That's enough for level 2. I don't know if you have level 2 combos or not, but if you do, this is a level 2 combo into 40%. Now they're struggling, gasping for air. Yo, Lanchu. Ooh, you got him. Ooh, you got him. Right here, you had him. Like, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Okay, right here, we got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Right here, it's like, ooh. Here is while you're walking back and you're trying to whiff punish something, instead of trying to go for crouch jab here, go for crouch and medium punch. I think right now I haven't seen you use crouch and medium punch. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. +1. Another situation where we should charge it, right? Because it wasn't charged, you're put in a situation where you immediately have to block whatever she did next. Because although you're technically half safe, if she did like kick, I think she would be able to punish you from here. But because you went for this option here, you immediately have to deal, because you're in range of a forward medium punch, you're in range of crouching medium kick, you're in range of all of it. Standing light kick as well, you're in range of all of it. So the reason why you don't want to do it like this is because you're putting yourself in a situation where you immediately have to deal with her. Okay, she does not have combos. Yes, sir. Bop, 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 bop. Beautiful. Now this is very close to checkmate, but it's still technically check. If we can get rid of their meter. Ooh. I didn't pause it in time, so I didn't get it to really go back on that. But you need, that was, ooh, that was spooky right there. You really went for it, and I respect you for going for it, right? But the thing is that done wrong, you know what I mean? Your ass is grass. He baits. Okay, the reason why I say off of this situation you want to bait, if she went for super here, you're dead. Drive rush, bait. Right? Drive rush, bait. If you want to close out, you want to close out. Either way, I would have preferred a different method of going in. Okay, off of this situation, drive rush, heavy punch, drive rush, heavy punch for the break, for the burnout state, and then into DI for the stun, and then GG's. All right, here you went for a drive rush standing medium kick into the medium punch target combo, which is, it did the job, don't get me wrong, but there were definitely better ways to optimize it so that you weren't put in such a risky situation. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, let's go on to the last game. Let's see what type of adaptations we will see from there. Okay, so in this last game, let's see how it goes. So far, we've been playing pretty well. Yep, I like the fact that we're going for it. Yes, I like this. They had to come off meter. They're still, now they can't comfortably, you want to force them into a situation where they're not comfortably able to drive rush cancel, right? Because anytime they get access to drive rush cancel, you have to guess, or you lose quite a substantial amount of health, right? So you want to force them into those type of situations. Don't forget, you have the counter fireball that turns into your own fireball. No need to hold all of this. Woo! Woo! What am I seeing? What am I seeing? What is this? Yo. Anti-air sweep is an insane timeline. That's all I have to say. I don't have any other words, but anti-air sweep is a different timeline. Also, the fact that we haven't used crouching medium punch at all in this set, even though it's a really good button. Each of your buttons have a really good purpose. I feel as though for crouching medium punch, it's a really good way to catch them walking back, right? A lot of opponents, you'll find they'll walk back a lot. In order to catch them out for doing this decision, you obviously don't have a low crouching medium kick. Your standing medium kick is the same way, and that's where crouching medium punch comes into handy, especially when your opponent's trying to walk back and bait you or whatever have you. It's a good button to use. Pull him in. Ooh, yep, that's one of his weaknesses. I don't think the decision you made was wrong. I just think that's just one of the things you got to deal with when it comes to this character. The gimmick. You got to start blocking overhead. Okay. A lot of chuns, especially around this rank, like to do a couple gimmicky things here and there. One of those gimmicks does include going for a cheeky overhead during a combo just so that they can kill. Throw out a fireball, it's okay. Again, weave back. See what I mean? This is the second time you weaved forward. You want to weave back because they can contest that space with a fireball or whatever have you. Okay, I like the fact that you're not folding on defense, but you also can take a couple of liberties to try and DP out of situations, right? Especially if you know their plus. Like a common situation right here is just going for this down forward heavy kick. right? This situation here, more than likely, it's very, 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 very unlikely if they went for this, they're just gonna walk back. Very unlikely, especially at this rank, is very unlikely. So going for a little bit of liberty, going for a DP is not a bad option to choose, you know? Remember, you have fireball too. Oof. You have fireball too. Ooh. Once again, I gotta say it again. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. And you sat there. Pull him in, you know. So notice how off of a lot of these pulls, you've gone for button. How many times do you think that you've gone for throw? This is something that you need to keep in mind. In order for your strike, in order to do the big damage, you gotta make them tech. As of right now, you're not making them tech, which means that doing all of this kind of loses a little bit of its purpose. You feel me? He tried to anti-air sweep again. He tried to do it again. Look at his inputs. He tried to do it again. This man is legit trying to anti-air sweep you. Yo. Nah. Y'all diamonds have it rough, bro. You got some real monsters in there. Okay. What version did you use here? It looked like... Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Yep. Get in there. Throw them. Okay. This is fine. This is very good. Be careful of DI. She showed that option before. Yep. Okay, good. Bop, bop. Bop, 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 bop. Fight me for real. Careful how we approach. Good. Good, good, good. We didn't do too much. We just kind of chilled out, see what they like to do. Didn't do anything. Went for an action. Ooh. Third time, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Wait, she's shadow boxing right now, bro. She is shadow boxing. Where's she reaching for? Again, you gotta watch it dome. Yep, there you go. Okay, maybe with a B. Anti-air. Let me see what this situation is. So she'll dash at you and then just do neutral jump to try and bait out a throw. And both of you are trying to bait out throws without actually throwing anybody. Okay, pull up. Yep. Okay. So this is a range where she kind of has nothing left to lose. This is one of... How do I put this? This is one of the things where you'll start to notice that when your opponent gets to a really low amount of drive gauge, some of your opponents are going to be like, you know what? Let me go into burnout on my own terms. Some of your opponents will do this. On top of which, right, when it comes to this, some of your opponents are willing to DI not on reaction, but DI on a read because they know that this follow-up is coming. I'm sort of in that camp because it is a strong option, because if you're right, then you're really right, because if you're right, you get hit here into level 3, you get about a quarter to half your gauge back, and then you also have them knocked down, right? So in these situations, it's tough to make the call whether you should go for your actual Psycho Flicker versus bait, right? She hasn't really shown you that option too many times. She's only shown it once before, so I don't blame you for going for this option. What I'd also say is that maybe you want to try holding it ever so slightly just to kind of see the situation and then let it go. But either way, I don't think your decision making was necessarily wrong in that case. You made a call, you made a read, but the thing is, it just didn't work out, right? With that being said, let's go into the lab. Let's talk about a couple of concepts and then we'll send you on your way. With that being said, I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so now that we're in the lab, let's go over a couple of things, right? One of the things that I noticed right away was that your opponent was throwing fireballs and we weren't really trying to check the space, right? You have access to this, so they're gonna have to deal with this, right? And then on some occasions, it's okay to use some of your meter to kind of win the fireball war, right? Make sure that you're winning the fireball war, and you can also walk behind this as well, right? You put out the light one because it's slow. We walk up behind it. They're forced to interact with it either through parry or trying to jump over it. If they try to jump over it, we have access to either DP or we have access to standing heavy punch, right? So that's something that you want to get used to a little bit, okay? With that being said, when it comes to your offense, I think that if your opponent is not showing you that they're stopping this actively, keep doing it, right? And then on top of which, when it comes to it, you were choosing a lot of strike in these cases here, so you went for strike a lot. And if you're looking at her inputs, she wasn't even worried about throw all too often, right? So off of these situations, don't be afraid to throw. Take a little bit of space, right? They're gonna walk back, whatever, and then you can also use this opportunity to try and bait them. So what you can do is that you can fake at this range here, you can fake the fireball, and that's the beauty in this character, is that you can fake the fireball. So some of your opponents, if they see the fake, they're assuming the follow-up is going to come, they're going to try and DI. It also gives you the chance to react as well. And if you, because of the way the input is, what you can do is that you can hold, if you look at my inputs, I'm holding the forward. You hold the forward. You fake it, you hold the forward. Reason why you want to hold the forward is if you see them leave the air, you just put in a quarter circle forward, right? Like so. And you can just keep baiting them, right? If you want to get a little bit of ground and actually throw it for real, then we can do so, but that's how we want to go about baiting them, right? The next thing that we want to do is that when it comes to the strike throw game in the corner, don't be afraid to do this, right? Do a couple of tick throws, because some of your opponents are gonna immediately try and like mash out the situation. You can also go for a throw here like that, and then after this situation like this, you're still +3, which means you can go for this again, right? Then you can decide to pull them in, do the same thing again. And if you feel like your opponent is teching, I think you should already know this, but in the case that anyone does not, if your opponent, once your opponent feels like they're being thrown one too many times, they'll start trying to tech, right? In those cases, we can bait them out. No, I guess we'll use backdash, right? Ooh, I'm not good at that. The whole point of it for me is that make sure that you're punishing this. Also, with that being said, I noticed that when you're doing your routes, I noticed that you're doing medium punch, but what you can do instead, or medium punch into medium punch target combo, what you can do instead, what I'm seeing a lot of the pros actually do here, is into standing drive rush, standing medium punch into heavy punch. Okay, so they'll do something like, let me pull you in. Damn, I am not getting my inputs. Okay, like so, right? So that is because you're drive rushing. Your drive rush button is your standing medium punch. You can do standing medium punch, standing heavy punch. Okay. Like so. Oh, but either way, that's what I want you to start doing a little bit more often. On top of which, I want you using your crouching medium punch a lot more, because this is how you check your opponent for not watching their feet, because a lot of your opponents are just gonna be walking back and forth, right? In these cases here, you want to be using this to check their feet, right? Obviously, because you can't use this to check their feet, you can't use this to check their feet, but it's definitely a way to do so as well. On top of which, there were a couple of incidents here where your opponent got this. Let's get them off of block. Right, they did something to that extent. Right, in these cases, right, if you catch them, look, you're +7 off of the situation, right? Remember how I mentioned that you'd be +7, anywhere between +6 or +7. off of that situation, you want to make sure that you're putting yourself you're +6 +7 in their face, right? +8, like I mentioned, it's variable but depending on the height, but it's definitely good to have on you, right? And then in some cases, depending on how late or early you do it, you can cause a side switch, right? So that is something that I want you to incorporate, and make sure that you're answering your opponent, because if you're allowing your opponent to get away with nonsense, you know, then it's just gonna be just that much worse for you. You feel me? Aside from that, when you're in neutral, don't forget to use your fireball. I know this is your first fireball character, but you gotta make sure that you're mixing it up between faking these, using this, using the light one when they're in this range, right? I noticed that you were committing to this the entire time, right? I noticed you're committing to the medium one. Don't forget that in different ranges you want to use different ones, right? The reason why is because this one has more startup. This one has less startup, so it's a little bit better to use at closer ranges, especially when you're in heavy punch range. Cool. All right, with that being said, appreciate you guys watching, and hey, if you're looking for more content, I got it right there. Check out that playlist. Stop playing with me. Have a good one, y'all.